you wonderful people. I'm Sarah and I'm coming to you with what's become a bit of an annual thing for me. I've started getting requests for my next annual grocery haul or my weekly shop update. Now I'm going to go about this much the same way I have done in the past. So I'll just go through with you how I plan my family's weekly shop, and I will include a montage at the end. I will show you what I make each day. I will put more detailed recipes down below for anything that I brush over. I won't give full-on recipes in this video, but I'll give you the general gist of what I do, and any links down below I'll put them in the description for full recipes of what I've made throughout this week. So I've got 3 kids at school, so we'll include school lunch boxes and all of this, so there should be about 5 school lunch boxes, a couple of weekend lunches. The kids tend to sort out their own breakfasts. Might sort of briefly show things, but I make my version of tray baked crumpets. The kids are pretty big on that. I make our own bread. Normally for my husband, I get rolled oats and I sort of mix it with some muesli mix, and I actually make him pots of overnight oat, and he either has them quickly at home before he sets off for work, or he takes a pot with him and has it at work. So that's sort of what he does for breakfast. The kids, it varies. Sometimes they have toast or crumpets, sometimes they have porridge. So it varies, and mornings are pretty chaotic here, so I probably won't film all the breakfasts. The kids very much pack their own lunch boxes with guidance, so I make sure they put fruit and veggie. Normally they have some fruit, some veggies, a treaty thing like an item of baking or something like that, although I've got a couple of extras to pick up this week, which I'll go through. I'll do some popcorn or something like that, and something substantial like a sandwich. The extras that I've got this week, I'm part of the Woolworths Bunch Club. Worth putting your name down on the waiting list for that. I think there is a waiting list these days. It's a club you can join, and they will give you free samples in exchange for reviews and recipes and things like that, and it's quite a good resource. So, but yeah, every now and then I get once I've got a few freebies to pick up, I'll go into Woolworths, and I quite often grab their bags of like Odd Bunch apples, and they've often got carrots and onions, which are quite a bit cheaper because they're a bit weird, they're odd shaped, but that's fine because we're all odd in this house too, so it suits us quite well. So I often grab that kind of stuff from Woolworths. In the Bunch Club today, this week, I've got some chippies. The kids will love that because I don't really buy chippies otherwise. A Scroggin type nut mix, and also some crumbly cheese, so I'll have to do something with that. I'll go through the fridge and the pantry and see what I've got. My number one thing when I start doing my weekly shop is shop your fridge, your freezer, your pantry first. See what you've got and see how many meals you can make out of what you already have in there, because that way you don't end up overstocking and losing track of what you've got, and sometimes things go off or you forget you've got things. It just helps keep things rotating, and it makes sure you don't waste anything. We went to the Hellas Factory store last weekend. We were driving past Kaipoi, and they had big bags of sausages going cheap. So I've got some sausages that I separated out and put in my freezer. Last year when I did this, I did it at a time when there was a lot of fruit growing. So I actually had some apples and peaches that I'd gotten. I think the apples were off some tree on the side of the road. The peaches, I think they might have been from either our tree or my parents' trees. So we had quite a bit. Now we don't have that this time round, so it'll be a bit of a different one. I will be obtaining fruit. We're just coming to the end of feijoa season. We have been inundated with feijoas. It's been amazing. I love feijoas and I like to do lots of baking and stuff with them, but we're coming to the end of that now, so I will be buying fruit as well this week. Now also, after I've compiled a list of what I need to buy, so I'll have a look, see what I can make with what I've got, and see what sort of part recipes I've got that I may just need to top up a few things on. once I've done that, I'll actually look online and I'll see who's the cheapest, because sometimes Woolworths, sometimes Pack and Save. It's hardly ever New World. That will vary a lot, area to area, and it'll depend what you're buying as well, I suppose. Maybe some things that I don't normally buy might be cheaper at New World, I don't know. One other thing that I'm not utilising at the moment, that I did this time last year, is my veggie patches, because things got a bit crazy in the last few months. They got neglected, but we've actually built up a couple of other veggie patches. I think I did a video on us doing that. We're still working on filling those up. I'm actually completely dug up all my veggie patches at the moment. Part of the dirt from one is going into another. I'm doing a big rotate. I'm going to get some more dirt, fill them all up, make them nice. So I'm kind of going to be starting my veggie patches again from scratch pretty soon. Another thing to bear in mind when I mention prices of my shop is that prices vary, of course, throughout New Zealand. Woolworths prices, I think they have a general North Island price and South Island price for things, but the likes of New World and Pack and Save, it's variable store to store. So we'll have a wee gander, we'll see what we've got, and we'll make a plan. I write down a list of, I try and get 7 dinners, write down a list of what dinners I can make with what I've already got, and on the other side, what ingredients I need to buy to make other dinners, or what I need to top up on. Straight away, I know I've got those sausages in there. I have had requests lately to make a ragu, because it's been a while since I did that. So I will make a sausage ragu one night. That involves penny pasta. Sometimes I make pasta myself if I'm making spaghetti or fettuccine, but yeah, penny pasta, I'm not good with making that, but that's okay. Pasta's cheap enough to buy. And then we just need tinned tomatoes for that, and some chili powder, which I think I already have. I will get another block of cheese. I don't like buying cheese because it's super expensive, but cheese is life around this place. Although I try and limit it a bit, yeah, we're pretty good on cheese. I've got some frozen veggies. I've also actually got some marinated chicken drumsticks in there that I got on special last week that I didn't use. So I will do that. I'll make some chippies. I already have plenty of potatoes for that. Don't need to buy anything for that. But I will get some more frozen veggies. Another thing I picked up without planning on it last week was I think of pickled pork. It's been ages since I had some of that, but they did have it on special. And I thought, oh, that'll be something different. I did not utilise it. As I said, it wasn't part of my planned dinners for last week. But I'm not that strict. If something is on special and I know I'm going to use it, even if it's just for, you know, the next week, not this week, I will allow myself that because then that makes this week's shop a bit easier. So I've got that pickled pork. I'll do that with like some mashed potato and veggies. I only have Agria potatoes at the moment, and I find they're not great for mashing. You kind of want the waxy white ones for mashing. I'll get some potatoes for that, and make sure I've got some beef stock to make gravy with. You can't have mashed potatoes without gravy, can you? No, I do not. So I'll get some beef stock. I might do a dal one night because I have some red lentils in there. I might grab some brown lentils as well to add into it. Also, I do like a dollop of yogurt on my dal. Last week I cheated, I bought yogurt. But I have a little bit of that left. So I'm going to use what's left of that to make another batch of yogurt. So I won't buy yogurt this week, I will make it with what I've got there. I'm going to make sure I've got milk. I do buy powdered milk. That's fine. Some people don't like it, some people do. Some people buy it just for baking with because it's a cheaper option, but they don't like it for just drinking on its own. I don't tend to drink milk just on its own, so it's not a biggie for me. So I use the blue milk for making my yogurt with, and the green milk in cereal and coffee and that sort of thing. And it does work out cheaper. Just for those who saw my my coffee comparison video a while back, I did some blind taste tests with different brands of coffee. I'm still on my special blend. I thought this was my usual Nescafe, I think, during the taste test, so I'm still using that. It's cheaper. Just looking in there, I've noticed we do need peanut butter. My son is a peanut butter nutter. I always need flour to make lots of stuff. I also like to, because I like a nice sort of grainy loaf of bread. I top up on there's like a seed mix that I get from the bins at Pak'nSave. I think this one's called like omega-3 mix or something, but it's quite nice. It's got sesame seeds and some pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. It's just a really nice mix and it's not that expensive. So I'll top up on that. I'll see what price crumbed fish is, and I might do a homemade fish and chip night. I will need butter. I just use cheap margarine instead of butter because the price of it is astronomical. I know it's not good for you, but you know, just wait till I've got a milking cow. I will be dangerous. I can't wait for my chickens to start laying again. They're not laying this time of year. And my kids are pretty big on having eggs for breakfast. They do love doing eggs on toast. Especially, sometimes they just scramble up eggs, put in the microwave. I don't mind that because it's much better for you than the likes of cereal. But yeah, I quite often get eggs from the warehouse because I find that's the cheapest place. It's about $6.50 now, I think it is, for a dozen eggs. So I'm going past the warehouse, I'll grab some eggs. Something else that I had just remembered, I've actually got in the freezer in the shed, I've got some steak and cheese pies. So I'll do them one night too. Now, I haven't tried that brand before, and I can't tell you off the top of my head what brand it is, but I'll let you know at the time. They were actually in the chilled discount section at Pak'nSave. It was a pack of 4 pies and it was for $4. So, you know, $1 per pie, that's all good. So I got a couple of packets of that, so they had a few of them there. So I might do those pies one night. Do them like with some baked beans, and check I've got beans. Nope, need beans. I've actually got a pumpkin in there to use as well. I was always a fan of making pumpkin soup. All of my kids have just gone right off pumpkin soup. I think I went a bit overboard with it last year. I can tell you that pumpkin soup, heat up some sausages in a pan, chop up some onions, put some other veggies with it, and put some curry powder with some pumpkin soup. It makes the yummiest curried sausages. So what I actually might do is make a batch of pumpkin soup, and I'll section it out so I could have it for lunches one day or something. For the family, I'll do a dinner, and I'll keep it in batches and just make curried sauce. Other than the fish, I'm actually not needing to buy much in the way of meat this week because I did buy stuff last week. I always feel like I'm cheating a bit in these videos if I use stuff that I've already got from previous weeks. But the thing is, that's how I operate. I do that every single week. I'll buy stuff that wasn't on my list and I'll end up using it the next week. So there's a lot of give and take. So also, there's things like rolled oats. Do I need rolled oats? Do not need rolled oats, but I do need muesli. And another thing I might get, because my oldest has been wanting, so I've got a can of mackerel in there and she was wanting to make some sushi, so I might get some short grain rice. I will need carrots, etc. veggies. Already got some broccoli in there that I do need to use. I'll use that in one of these dishes. And fruit, of course. I'll just, I'll look online for the fruit bargains. Have I got popcorn? Oh, just realised I need tomato sauce. I'll grab some more canned tomatoes because I use so many of them, it's ridiculous. Gonna go quickly jump online and just check out whether Woolworths, Pak'nSave, the warehouse, wherever, which is cheapest for each of these things. Lots of people like using things like Grocer. They've got an app and a website. I find that a bit weird to use. I find it a bit clunky. I actually just find those things, it's just easier for me to open a few tabs and just search each thing individually and see which is cheapest. But if you like the Grocer app, whatever, that's a good option. So there's my list. I'll suss out what's cheaper from where. And I'll be back tomorrow and I will show you my little haul, what I got, and let's see how much I cheated. Okay, so I'm back with my haul. I've got my receipts. I went to a few different places. So I'll go through what I got. Toilet paper, I hadn't written that on my list, but I did need it. Let's see, in the, I call it the dented can section in Pak'nSave. They've got a shelf where they put reduced price stuff because the box is a bit full or something like that, but $5.49 for 675 grams of toasted muesli. So that's actually not a bad price. So I actually grabbed 3 boxes of that, so I bought more than what I'd planned on buying. However, it'll get used and it'll probably mean I don't have to buy muesli next week. Another unplanned buy was cans of fruit salad. They had them on special for 99 cents each. Fruit salad in juice, and it's sort of handy just for little puddings or something. You can do baking with it, but also it's really handy for topping up the emergency box, which I keep in the shed with a lot of canned goods. So we actually ended up buying 7 of those, which is, you know, more than what we'd normally have like in a week. But as I say, when they're on a special like that, I buy quite a few to, you know, top up the emergency supplies and that sort of thing. So that's where some of these will be going. I got a can of lentils. It is a bit cheaper to buy them dried and soak them yourself, but it's not often I'm that organised. Sometimes it happens, but it's just handy to have a can of them in the pantry in case I find that I don't have any in the freezer that I've pre-cooked or anything like that. Got baked beans, which I'd intended on buying. Some canned tomatoes. I've got a bag of mixed veggies already in the freezer, but I got some peas and green beans. Some yeast for my bread making. Some nice green bananas, we like them green. They had some meat ends on special. This is sliced pepperoni. So this will either be good for sandwiches, we kind of like a bit of spicy stuff, but I'll probably actually portion this out and put it in sections in the freezer, get it out as and when needed. If I'm doing homemade pizzas, this sort of stuff's really good to put on that, so I grabbed that while it was going. Coffee, essential. Instead of the mixed seeds, I got just some linseeds for my bread. Tomatoes are not cheap at the moment. Still working on growing my own in our controlled room, but in the meantime I just bought 3 of them just to do as for weekend lunch. Got some frozen crumbed fish fillets, beef stock, washing up liquid. I normally just buy the 2 litre tub of it. If anyone's wondering about other cleaning stuff, I mostly just use white vinegar. I use a mixture of white vinegar and water, sometimes with a dash of washing up liquid in there as well, and put it in a spray bottle, and that will clean most things. A few black bags of flour, those are $2 each at my local at the moment. Sushi rice, you don't actually have to buy sushi rice to make sushi, just short grain rice will do, but this was literally all they had, so I got that. A couple of tubs of margarine. Stuff I don't normally buy. Normally I don't buy raspberry jam or cream. However, we've got a friend coming over on the weekend to help us out with some jobs that need doing, and apparently he is a very big fan of scones with cream and raspberry jam. So, so I figure that's the least I can do for him for payment. Normally I make my own jam, but I don't have enough raspberries in the freezer to warrant making jam. I've got plum jam, but I thought no, if he likes raspberry, he can get raspberry. Peanut butter. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy the peanut butter per 100 grams in the big jar. This week it was actually cheaper in a smaller jar. Got tomato sauce. I got some pre-made deviled sausage sauce mixture. Yeah, I know I can make my own, but I really like this stuff. And it's actually, it was on special, which is why I bought it. I'm not really planning on doing deviled sausages this week, but as I say, this will be one for next week. But yeah, this is a really handy thing to have on hand just for last minute, I haven't prepared a lot type dinners. This is really good. Oh, and I grabbed a bag of chook pellets while I was there because I wasn't sure how we were for chook food. I couldn't remember, so I grabbed a bag of that. So that's going in with our shopping too. Moving on to what I got from Woolworths. The stuff I got this week from Bunch Club. I got some barbecue chippies, some cranberry nut mixture, and some Greek style crumbly cheese. So that was pretty good. Normally you get like about one freebie each week, but you've got a while to collect them, so I sort of save them up and collect a few all at once. So I might make some kind of fancy lunch on the weekend, make some crackers and stuff, might make some labneh. And these will be great for lunch boxes. So my total from Pack and Save came to $136.27. So Woolworths, the Bunch Club stuff, they were freebies. I got a whole heap of fruit and veggies in the Odd Bunch. I'm a big fan of them, and generally they are the cheapest. So I got some Odd Bunch white potatoes, bag of carrots, big 2 kg bag of apples, some pears. They're a nice little size for lunch boxes. Not everyone is a fan of the natural everyday cheese from Woolworths. I don't mind it. It is the cheapest type at the moment, so that's the cheese I got this week. And I got some Odd Bunch onions. The bag actually split, and so I had to go running all over the place collecting up my onions. But anyway, I got some Odd Bunch onions. That's what's in this bag. And kiwi fruit. They were $2 a kilo from Woolworths, so I grabbed some kiwi fruit too. Woolworths total was $36.92. I made my way to the warehouse because they are the cheapest place for eggs and pasta at the moment. Eggs $6.50 per dozen. I got 2 dozen eggs. There's 5 of us, plus I do a lot of baking, so you know we go through them. And got some penne pasta to make the ragu with tonight. So that's $14.50 from the warehouse. And then I was driving past the Rangiora produce market and I saw a sign saying avocados 99 cents each. I like my avos. I grabbed a few of them, and my daughter, who was with me at the time, convinced me to buy a bag of lemons because she wants to eat lemons. I'd said no to so many things along the trip, so I let her have a bag of lemons. Why not? So total from the produce market, $6.96. So there we go, total haul for this week, and it was $194.65. So I will get recording, I will get making stuff, I will show you what I made with all of this, plus what I've already got in the fridge and freezer, and yeah, hopefully it's of some inspiration. Okay, so all that stuff on the floor, apart from the chook pellets, I don't think you can see that, so just pretend that I've put all that away. I will be shortly, I promise, but I just need to make some bread so we can pack lunch boxes for tomorrow. I normally do some kind of baking for lunch boxes. I'm just going to take full advantage of those Bunch Club freebies that I got, and they can have some nuts and chippies in there instead of, like, you know, treaty baking that I normally do. Rest assured there'll be plenty of that through the rest of the week though. So just going to make a loaf of bread. I'm not one of those fancy clever people that makes my own yeast. I do buy yeast, but it still works out cheaper than buying bread for the amount that we go through during the course of a week. So I'm putting a bit of wholemeal flour and some seed mixture into this loaf, but you know, plain white loaf, super simple to make. All you need is yeast, flour, water, and a little bit of salt, and you're away. 5 minutes hands-on time, and that's it. Cover that up, let it rise, then we'll chuck it in the oven later. Okay, so just going to sort out some breakfasty type stuff. I'm going to make some crumpets. Something else I did earlier today that I just realised I did not film, I'm making some labneh cheese. So with the Greek yogurt that I make, just add some salt and pepper, whatever herbs or spices you want to it. Roll it up in a muslin and keep draining it until it's the right consistency. It's actually really easy. I haven't made it in ages, but as I say, you know, we want to have a yummy sort of cheese and cracker type lunch over the weekend, so I'm getting that sorted and yeah, draining out all the way. Lunch today, it's Saturday. I'm going to break out that labneh I made, break out the crumbly cheese, get some avocado, some ham, some tomatoes, make a whole tray of crackers. It's going to be awesome. Crackers are actually pretty simple to make. I actually use my pasta roller to get them nice and thin, but you don't have to do that. You can be less lazy and actually use a rolling pin, but you can control the thickness, control the flavour. Okay, so Olivia wanted to do some baking. Far be it from me to stop her. We've got the dregs of our homegrown apples and feijoas still hanging around, looking a bit scungy at this point. So, gonna do some apple feijoa crumble slice. She's doing a double batch. So we're taking some to a friend's place and some for us. Yay! Got some friends coming over today. I will just clear the bench and start making some scones, and I'll make another loaf of bread to go with lunch. Just so we know, the bread and the scones, the camera's been running for exactly 12 minutes. That's how long it took, hands-on time. So now they just need to go in the oven. The apple feijoa crumble slice has almost vanished. The scones went pretty quick that I made today. But we had visitors over and everything, so you know, that's our excuse. I did buy those lemons, and so I thought, oh, I'll make a lemon drizzle cake. That always makes everyone happy. Yes. Got a couple of things I'm going to do today. I'm going to make some sushi, just as a bit of a break from sandwiches and lunch boxes. And I'm also going to make that pumpkin soup that I threatened to make, which I'll divvy it up into little pots. Some of it will be like lunches or whatever for me. Some of it will be used as a sauce, so I'm going to use it as a curry sauce with our dinner tonight. Sushi is one of those things, you don't actually need much equipment. Of course you need the seaweed mats, you need the rice, something to put in it, bamboo stick mats. You don't need one of those fancy roller things, apparently they make it really easy, but I reckon it's pretty easy anyway, so it's actually quite ridiculous what they charge for sushi in the stores when you think how much rice costs. You know, it really is costs very little to make sushi. Okay, so next day I'm going to make another loaf of bread. I'm also doing that pickled pork for dinner tonight. This is only the second time I've ever cooked this, and the first time was a couple of years ago, I think. I seem to recall it was really tasty though. I'm cooking it much like corned beef or corn silver side. So I've actually got a pot and I've just put it on top of our fireplace, and I'm just sort of slow cooking it throughout the day. You know, gave it a good rinse off. I've put some pepper, chopped up some onions, put a bit of vinegar in with the water, just give it a nice flavour. I've got a bay leaf tree out there. I'll actually grab a couple of bay leaves later and chuck them in as well. And I might do some more lunchbox baking later on. So I mentioned doing some more baking for lunchboxes tomorrow. However, then I remembered I had some rice left over. I just put this in the fridge from making the sushi yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some milk, put it in here with a bit of sugar, maybe put some cinnamon in to flavour it or something, and make some rice pudding. Now rice pudding is always best made with milk from the very start rather than with leftover rice that's been pre-cooked, but it still turns out well, especially if you cook it really super slowly. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and just put the rice pudding in little pots, put it in the lunch boxes. Happy kids. Another quick and easy lunchbox filler I'm just going to do is popcorn. I just get the bags of kernels, they're pretty cheap to buy, pop it yourself, good fun, nice wee filler. So, in the spirit of using things up that we've already got, I'm just going to show you something really quick and yummy I'm going to make for my lunch today. I'm going to use some of that whey that I've got left over from making the yogurt. Now this whey, you can use it in just about any baking as a milk replacement. I often make 2 ingredient scrolls with it using this. Oh, I might do that for lunch boxes tomorrow. Just using this and self-raising flour. But also, yeah, any kind of baking. I use it, quite often I use it in my crumpets instead of using milk and water. I use whey with water, still works really good. But this is a nice little thing to use it in as well. It's like just a nice little treaty lunch for one. It's basically toasties from scratch, make the bread and everything. Normally I like to put some sliced pickles, bit of tomato, but it depends what I've got. All out of tomatoes, I don't have pickles. I'm gonna slice up onion, you know, I got those odd bunch onions, so I've got some little piddly ones. So I'm gonna slice up one of these, cook it up, and then just put some ham and cheese in there. And you know, you can put mustard in it if you want, whatever. It's just a super duper easy little flatbread toasty for one. Super simple, super yummy, super cheap. Just going to make a red lentil dal. Vegetarian option, really simple, and it's really, really yummy. So this is one of my favourite things. Lastly, there is the next week's shop, just so you know. That came to $232, so a bit more expensive, but it does include things like shampoo and conditioner, some toothbrushes, some big sack of sugar because I wanted to make some more feijoa wine. Yeah, a few other bits and pieces for baking. There's some roast meat there. There we go. I'm hoping this video has been of some inspiration to people. Absolutely, let me know in the comments below if you've got any more ideas or what you do, how you go about your weekly shopping, any of that sort of stuff. And have fun out there. We will see you next week. Bye.